Welcome to the Quick Start Guide on HDR photography with the Promote Control. We will use a Promote Control with a Canon 5D Mark II camera. This camera is known to be limited to 3 exposures in automatic bracketing. In our demonstration, we will use Promote Control to achieve automatic bracketing of 7 shots. For this demonstration, we will use the following items: Promote Control Unit, Canon 5D Mark II camera, a separately available shutter cable that is compatible with the Canon 5D Mark II camera. If you plan on purchasing the Promote Control, you might use the Promote Control System Builder on our website that will recommend which shutter cable to use if available for your camera. If you already have a Promote Control, make sure to update its firmware to the latest version available for free from our website at www.promotesystems.com in the support section. We will start with the Promote Control that has just been unpacked. Let's first install the batteries, paying attention to the correct polarity. When closing battery lid, take care to keep the weather sealing gasket in place. Once the lid is securely locked in place, let's connect our cables. The black USB cable is the most important one. It allows Promote Control to send commands to the camera. Connect the rounded connector marked P to the Promote Control USB port. The rectangular connector marked C is connected to the camera USB port. The shutter cable is connected to the Promote Control shutter cable port, located next to the USB port. The other end of the shutter cable is connected to the camera remote release port. Once everything is connected, press Power on the Promote Control. Press left and right buttons simultaneously to enter the setup menu. Left and right buttons will scroll through the menu settings, while up and down buttons change setting values. Let's scroll to the setting number 2 that tells Promote Control to use shutter cable and change that to Yes. This will enable extra features that we will use in this demonstration. Then, if your camera supports exposures down to 1/8,000th of a second, scroll to a setting that says Enable exposures below 1/4000th of a second and set that to Yes. We can do that for the Canon 5D Mark II. Finally, press the Center button on the Promote Control to return to the main activity screen. Then press Mode button to scroll to the High Dynamic Range mode. Note that if you hold left button while pressing Mode, the modes will scroll backwards. Now, turn on your camera. For demo purposes, let's make sure we have the following setup. Mirror lockup should be disabled. In Canon 5D Mark II, this can be set in custom functions. Likewise, long exposure noise reduction should be disabled in custom functions. Now, we will need to find out where to start our bracketing. A good starting point is to set your camera to aperture priority mode. Set your aperture to a desired setting. Frame your future shot and read the resulting exposure time from the camera LCD. This exposure time will be the central exposure for Promote Control bracketing. Let's enter it into the Promote Control. Press Center button to change HDR mode settings and use up or down buttons to set mid-exposure. Press right button to scroll to the step. Press right again to scroll to total exposures, and use up and down buttons to set it to 7 shots. Promote Control calculates all exposures and shows you the final bracketing sequence to be taken. You can set it to perform as many as 45 shots at a time, or have up to 9.0 EV steps between exposures. Before we begin our sequence, let's switch camera to the manual exposure mode so that Promote Control can control exposure times. We also need to switch our lens to manual focus mode to avoid any interference with timing. Once everything is done, press Start on the Promote Control and watch our HDR bracketed sequence taken automatically. If we want to minimize mirror vibrations, we can enable mirror lockup in the Camera Custom Functions menu. The Promote Control will sense the change, and when you start the next bracketing sequence, we'll raise the mirror, wait, take a shot, and proceed to the next shot. Note that another camera may have mirror lockup function enabled using another menu, or even a physical control wheel, such as on certain Nikon cameras. If your camera supports long exposure noise reduction setting and you plan on taking HDR brackets of night scenes, you may want to enable that setting. Promote Control will wait for camera to complete noise reduction on all images and then proceed with the next shot. These are just a few of the many exciting features of the Promote Control system. Check out our website at www.promotesystems.com for more videos and demonstrations.